And it's a very good morning from me, Johnny Bryan, and welcome you to the Alliance Park in North London for the Natwest Schools Under-15 Vars semi-finals. It's been a festival of rugby this weekend at the Alliance Park. The Under-18s had their day in the sunshine yesterday, and it's now time for the Under-15s to have theirs on what can only be described as a very, very nice morning here in North London. It's a bit of a smorgasbord of colour in the sky, a bit of grey, a bit of white, a bit of blue, but no doubt it'll be colourful and beautiful on the field for the 4 matches that we'll have on display here this afternoon. David Rogers is alongside me, as always. David, a very good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Johnny. As you said, 4 fantastic matches today after a superb day of schools rugby yesterday. Let's see which under-15s teams are going to make it to Twickenham.
Yes, indeed. The under-18s, as I said, have made their ways to Twickenham yesterday. We had some great matches, and no doubt over the next few hours we'll have plenty more great matches. 2 semi-finals to come up in the Vars, under-15s Vars. They will get us underway before the under-15s Cup later in the day. The match is due to begin at 11, 1 p.m, 3 p.m, and 5 p.m, respectively. The first of which is a under-15s Vars semi-final between the Royal Grammar School of Newcastle and Sherborne School of Dorset. Let's see the 2 teams and see how they line up. Firstly, the Royal Grammar School of Newcastle. Rayhan Chowdhury, Archie Elder, Alistair Blackett at the front row. Manav Chopra and Finlay Edwards in the second row. Will Pettiford, Dylan Cave, James Mackin. Elliot Groves is the scrum half. Ben Snaith, fly half. Matthew Sneddon at 11. Ben Scott and James Dale are the centres. Elliot Jeffries on the right wing of 14. Jack Peter is the fullback, and they are coached by Mr. Alex Brown. Sherborne School. Just to confuse you a little, William Bailey will be wearing number 22, but he is the first name on the team sheet. Philip McLaughlin, who is the hooker, at 2, Felix Storr at 3, Louis Down 4, Hugo Prail at 5, Peter Fawkes at 6, George Sutton 7, Felix Carey at 8, Barney Humphrey is a scrum half at 9, Don Priest the outside half at 10, Doug Hickling at 11, Patrick Reynolds and Nick Jonas at 12 and 13 respectively. Johnny Page at 14, Tom Perkins is the fullback at 15, and they're coached by Mr. Ridian Maguire. The replacements for both teams: Stembridge, Haslam, McKay, Obona, Edwards, Waterhouse and Conningham, and Ben Rainbow, Ben Chidley, Rupert Chedwood, Tom Lane, Tom de Westlow, Guy Devell and Harry Taylor, and I also believe that 17 and 20, Henry Haslam and Tom de Westlow have blank numbers on their shirts, so when they come onto the field we have to see who they're swapping shirts with today, just to add to the confusion of what should be a great day. And Harry Taylor, by the way, will be wearing number 1. So then, that's what the first course is here this afternoon at the Alliance Park. This is how they got here as well in the Vars in the Vars competition. RGS Newcastle 57-7 winners over St John's School and Sixth Form College, 34-17 over King Edward VI School. Carmel College and Lancaster Royal Grammar, comprehensive victories there. A little bit of a tight contest against Lymm High School and Felsted High School. Round 5 and round 6, tough test for them, obviously.
Well, yeah, they've had an interesting season. Excuse me, their interesting season. They lost 5 of their 6 opening games, but they've won their last 4 in a row. Looking at the results in this competition, you can see they're not scared to score points. They've broken 50 3 times, including that 50-0 victory where the match was stopped early in the 3rd round against Carmel College. The most impressive thing, however, and this is something we're going to visit a few times because all of the teams today have got fantastic defences. RGS Newcastle conceding just 7 tries in the 6 rounds so far.
Well, that should be very interesting to see how they get on defensively against this Sherborne school from the South Coast down in Dorset, who are exceptionally good defensively as well, only conceding 15 points in 4 rounds in this competition. Walkovers over the first 2 schools, Clistervale Community College and the Woodruff School. Then comprehensive victories over Queen Elizabeth Community College and Torquay Boys Grammar School. Churchdown School a good victory, and St Columba's College as well, another good victory. So this is a team that really hasn't been tested so far.
Well, they've won 9 out of their 14 matches in all competitions. They've had great wins against Radley College, Marlborough College, Cheltenham College, who of course progressed very well in the Cup themselves. Another 50-0 victory there against Queen Elizabeth Community College. And we thought RGS Newcastle, 7 tries was impressive. This Sherborne team have conceded just 2 tries in the competition so far. Now, despite the fact both of these teams have done very well this season, they do come from different circuits. However, both the North Circuit that RGS Newcastle play in and the Sherborne circuit, they are very competitive. They've spent the entire season playing against quality opposition, so all that stands us in very good stead ahead of this semi-final at Alliance Park today.
Yeah, absolutely, we had a great atmosphere here yesterday. People just beginning to make their way into the stadium. Both teams travelled a long way, obviously, to be here today, from the northeast of England and from the southwest. So there'll be a few in the crowd, as you can see. Might give us a wave when they see themselves on the big screen. But no doubt we'll have plenty more of support for the other teams that will come for the Cup and the other semi-final later on. There'll be should be a decent crowd here today, as there was yesterday. Dulwich bring in their army of supporters that they always do, and they'll be in the Under-18s Cup final once again. Let's look ahead to some of the other matches later today here, David. And Oakham School against Bishop Wordsworth School, another interesting tie. That's the second semi-final of this Vars competition, and another interesting tussle it could be as well.
Well, of course, there is a lot at stake here. I mean, Oakham School and Bishop's Wordsworth School, both rugby powerhouses. We've got 4 teams here in this Vars competition with real proud rugby history. And of course, this Vars competition, the semi-finals, a big enough occasion here at Alliance Park. But with Twickenham at stake, you can't help but feel as though the psychology of the game and the occasion, and whichever teams deal with that the best, are going to really put themselves on the front foot to move forward to that Twickenham final.
Both teams are just downstairs, no doubt getting their final instructions from their respective coaches. Officials have yet to get the teams ready in the tunnel, so a couple more minutes to chat with Dave. Let's look ahead to the Cup semi-finals then, Dave. Queggs Wakefield, they always seem to be there or thereabouts every time in this under-15 section especially, and they're here once again. Absolutely, looking for another consecutive appearance at Twickenham. It's amazing that despite there being over 1,000 teams in these competitions, these NatWest Cup competitions, it's amazing that you have the same names there or thereabouts come the end of the season. Some of these teams, they just know how to play good quality cup rugby in a close match, in a 50-50 encounter. They've just got those methods that get them over the line as the teams are just coming out of the tunnel now. Yes, indeed they are. The other semi-final of the Cup to come later on is Brighton of Newcastle against Sherborne in Dorset. RGS Newcastle in their red and blue and white strip, Sherborne in their all blue. So in under-15s competition, just to remind you, 30 minutes a half. 1 hour of the game. And our man in the middle is get it in, calling both teams. So Twickenham awaits the winners. So then, Sherborne will get us underway. Don Prest is the man to start. Twickenham awaits the winner. First Vars semi-final is underway. Collected cleanly by RGS Newcastle. Number 8, James Mackin with the collection. Elliot Groves. Groves to Ben Snaith. James Dale up to the 10-metre line. Groves. James Mackin. Kicked down by Ben Snaith, was charged down, and it could be an opening try here for Sherborne. Number 2, Finian McLaughlin has pickpocketed a try in the opening minutes of the game.
Well, what a start from Sherborne. RGS Newcastle setting their stall out, looking to run the ball from deep. Looking quite composed, really, as though they had a game plan, but Sherborne have spoiled the party early on. McLaughlin, the hooker, read the play, charged the kick down. It was a great pickup off his toes, and he finished from 20 or so metres out. Dream start to this semi-final for Sherborne School.
Indeed it is, and what a start it is for Sherborne School. 5-0 in the opening minutes of the game. Against the run of play, it could be said. Not the best kick from Ben Snaith. He'll be disappointed with that effort. And Finian McLaughlin was there with the charge down. And Sherborne 5-0 ahead. Don Prest to add the extras. Just left of the upright. So 5-0, but what a start for Sherborne.
Oh, absolutely. Kick was a little bit flat from Ben Snaith. Well read by Finian McLaughlin, though. Take nothing away from the Sherborne hooker. Big couple of minutes now for the RGS outside half to see how he responds to that early mistake.
Snaith with the kick-off, goes deep. Finian McLaughlin parries it backwards. Picked up by William Bailey. Barney Humphrey. Don Prest. Launched downfield. It's an awkward bounce here for Sherborne, but RGS have it. Into the 22 they come. And the ball's been turned over, but they win the penalty. The tackler not rolling away. And now a chance here for Newcastle here to really get into this game. And I think they're going to go for the corner.
Yeah, nice run there from Jack Peter. Got outside his man. Forced the opportunity, and this will be the first time we see RGS inside the Sherborne 22. Brave decision to go for the corner as well when the points are on offer.
Well, he got away with it in the line-out, but actually the referee thought he didn't, because he spotted the knock-on.
Yeah, good spot from the referee. Of course, one of the things we spoke about was the lack of tries conceded by either of these two teams, but playing here at Allianz Park, it's a completely different story. Pitch obviously is in great condition. There's lots of space. So the defences have really got their work cut out today if they're going to stop the opposition getting over the whitewash.
Ball has come out and it's been picked up by Elliot Groves. This is Manav Chopra. Matt Shedden acting scrum half. Ben Scott. Ball lost, and the Sherborne have the knock-on advantage. Barney Humphrey seeking to get out of their own half. Humphrey, nearly a charged on kick, and not a bad take there from Will Pettifer. Held onto it well. Still in RGS's hands. Alistair Blackett. The referee says there was a knock on there, so it will be a Sherborne footing.
Impressed with Sherborne there and the way they're happy to quite pragmatically make yards up the field, using the forwards, the fringes of the ruck.
Scrum has been lost. Groves. The referee not too happy. So it will be an RGS put-in.
That's 2 against the head that RGS have won now. Hooker working really hard, particularly we had a great view of that one. The ball had actually gone just beyond the Sherborne front row, and the RGS hooker still managed to get a toe on it and win it back. Great work from the front 3 from Newcastle.
Referee just giving both front rows their instructions. Groves to the put-in and picked up by James Mackin, who does well. Gains about 10 metres. Groves. Ball knocked forward. So it will be another Sherborne put-in at the scrum. But I'm pretty sure RGS won't mind that because their scrum so far has been quite excellent, Dave.
Absolutely, yeah. Nice work down the blind side there. Just trying to bring the forwards into play and free up a bit of space on the open side. But ball just going to ground. They want to cut out those handling errors. With 2 consecutive scrums against the head, they'll really fancy this one.
Barney Humphrey.
Better scrum from Sherborne there.
Collects. Don Prest with the kick downfield. Hoping for an awkward bounce. He gets the awkward bounce as well. So it has to put Matt Shedden under pressure. And 2 of the centres have done. He still has it, Shedden. And he's done well. RGS with it. Awkward pass, though, for Manav Chopra. But he still collects. Chowdhury. Ben Scott. Will Pettifer. Groves. This is Archie Elder. Groves. Snaith. Good defence from Sherborne. Keeping Newcastle pegged back. They have an advantage and they win the penalty. So RGS have a chance here to get in a little bit of territory. But they won't, they're going to take it quickly, in fact. Groves. Chowdhury. Nice little offload. Out wide to Elliot Jeffries. The referee has given the penalty to Sherborne, and a little bit of attacking intent there from Newcastle.
Yeah, RGS moving the ball left to right and right to left. Well, I see some lovely offload in there. Great work between centre and winger. But I think they're just desperate for somebody to just straighten up the play a little bit. You know, it's all a bit lateral at the moment. Nothing really incisive. Nobody's fixing the Sherborne defenders, and they're just drifting and covering RGS. But still, some good phase play from Newcastle. But equally, some good defence from Sherborne.
Ben Scott. James Dale. A little bit of a scrap fest at the moment in this first 10 minutes of the game since the try.
Well, the try came out of nowhere, really, didn't it? It was just one sort of moment of genius from McLaughlin. We'll be talking about that for months, you know, that time he charged down and scored at Allianz Park. But aside from that, it's been a classic semi-final, really. Two well-structured teams, both comfortable with the ball in hand, but also comfortable absorbing the pressure defensively. It's become a bit of a midfield battle.
So yeah, it's been a bit of a only one mistake so far in this game. Both teams have really been cancelling each other out defensively. It's been a good defensive performance so far from both of these sides.
Yes.
Ball is lost and been dropped, and now chance for Sherborne here. I said one mistake cost them, and it looks like a second mistake has cost them as well. Try for Johnny Page.
That is a good finish from Johnny Page, but again, that has all stemmed from what I was talking about before. It's all too lateral from RGS. They were just going sideways, sideways, sideways. Sherborne push up. There's no one fixing the defender. Let's have a look now. See, sideways. It's all a little bit lateral. Then the ball's dropped. Everyone switches off. The lightning quick right winger, Johnny Page, picks it up. There's no one at home. It's a good chase back from Jack Peter. He tries to get there, but can't get there in time. It's 10-0 with the easy kick to come.
Pressed out the extras. Over he goes. 12-0 Sherborne lead, and it's come from two mistakes.
Well, it's ruthless stuff from Sherborne. They're absorbing the pressure from RGS. And as you said, two mistakes. One drop pass, Johnny Page was in. One charge down kick, McLaughlin is in.
I think if this is a game of tennis, I think it would be what you describe as unforced errors.
Absolutely, yes. Sherborne really picking the pockets. It's the sort of thing where they get to 5-all in the set and then break serve to make it 6-5.
Listen, up to then, you know, as I mentioned, although RGS defensively were excellent in this first 12 minutes, it's just a pity that it's just been so far just two unforced errors that have cost them 2 tries.
Well, it is a pity for them, of course. Sherborne will be delighted.
Oh, indeed.
But yeah,
the team from Dorset are dancing at the minute.
They're not asking Sherborne any questions. You can't just run sideways against a team that are this organised in defence. Still, the set piece has been good. It's another good scrum.
Groves. Loose pass to Snaith, who collects. Little dink forward from Ben Scott, and it's picked up by the fullback, Tom Perkins, who fancies a little darting run himself. Taps it upfield, it bounces in the pitch, and lands into touch, and it will be a RGS line-out inside their own half.
Yeah, Perkins has done well there. Managed to get on the ball, following the kick. I mean, there was a bit of chase on the kick, but Perkins wasn't under a lot of pressure when he received it, but RGS certainly put him under pressure with the ball in hand. Just dab the ball forward. Gets Sherborne back into the RGS half, and it's a long way to the try line from there.
Very small line-out, and it's been collected by Sherborne. And then number 8, Felix Carey. Barney Humphrey. Don Prest. And they're running for the line here again. It's the big man, Felix Storer. Into the 22 Sherborne come. They've been ruthless so far. Humphrey. Patrick Reynolds. Good tackle on Reynolds, but he offloads well to Peter Fowkes. Storer spots the gap. Couple of metres out. Humphrey goes to his right. Storer. He had men on the right-hand side. Still could be there, though, for Sherborne. There's another drive forward to the line. Held up. 5-metre scrum.
Good scramble defence there from RGS Newcastle. Sherborne coming forward in numbers, though, using the forwards to carry the ball. Felix Storer, seemed like you were saying his name every couple of seconds there. The front rower going through a great amount of work in the loose. Yeah, good attacking at pace. I've been impressed with Barney Humphrey, the way he gets to the breakdown and just calls out where he wants his players. Really organises the troops well, does the Sherborne scrum half. Just looking at the replay there of Sherborne getting the ball over the line. But RGS committed numbers to the tackle. Stop the ball being grounded. But still, great field position here for the team in blue.
So Barney Humphrey with the put-in. 16 minutes into this first half. Just to remind you, 30 minutes is what we play in under 15s level. And the clock in the top left-hand corner is an approximation. We go on the referee's whistle. Humphrey. Good scrum from Sherborne. And they'll reset and have the put-in once more. $12-0, Sherborne lead. Twickenham awaits the winner. Humphrey collects, goes to his left. Pressed. He's just short again, is scrambling for the line. And it could be over now with the scrum half, Barney Humphrey. Is making this an onslaught. Just right at the post. Sherborne on the front foot and gone through the gears quickly. 17 minutes gone, they've scored 17 points.
Well, it's fast, it's incisive, it's powerful. First of all, there's the ball from Humphrey. Lovely line there from the centre, dragging defenders along with him. You thought he was going to get there himself. Gets a couple of yards short. Barney Humphrey, first at the breakdown, as always. Uncontested, pounces over the line.
Sherborne 17-0. Made that 19-0. So Barney Humphrey, third try for Sherborne. 19-0 they lead.
Well, that's 3 opportunities and 3 tries. Real clinical stuff from Sherborne. Very impressive. As for RGS, what they need is some territory. They've shown they can go through the phases, but they've been doing it in all the wrong areas in the pitch so far. They turned that ball over well.
Indeed they have. It might be the catalyst that'll maybe wake them up a little. Snaith. This Chowdhury. But the ball has been lost, turned over to Sherborne. We do have an advantage to be played. And there it is, the penalty for that advantage. It's all going the Dorset School's way so far, David.
Well, they've got the bit between their teeth. Look at them tapping and going there. Pass over the top.
Johnny Page. Humphrey. Pressed. The RGS with the penalty.
Well, they've got to use this well now. They've got to use this possession well. They're going to go for touch.
Yeah, a good kick there from Ben Snaith.
Yeah, decent kick, bit of territory just outside the 22. You use a lot more energy when you're defending than when you're attacking, and obviously RGS, they've done a lot of defending in these opening 20 minutes. So a shortened numbers line out here. Interesting technique.
Yeah, interesting technique, but it seemed to work. They do collect with their number 8, James Mackin.
They've got a bit lucky there because they've left him isolated.
Groves. It's a loose pass again, and they've got away with it there, RGS. Dale. I say they've got away with it. There was a knock on during the play, and it will be an Sherborne scrum.
Well, I think that was a training ground move that they'd planned there with the 2-man line, but wasn't really executed the way that they wanted it to be executed.
A lot like the Welsh 15-man line out.
From the glory days.
The halcyon days.
Not seen one of those for a very long time indeed. But the 2-man line there, I think once the ball was received, there might have been a bit of confusion, because after that, there didn't seem to be a lot of cohesion. But the ball's back with Sherborne. RGS could do with another one of those big scrums.
Humphrey. Pressed. His right boot. Doesn't find touch, instead it finds the arms of Elliot Jeffries. Jeffries with the offload, it's not the best, as Archie Elder has knocked it on. Sherborne have turned the ball over. Box kick downfield from Humphrey. And they really are ramping the pressure up on RGS. It's relentless so far.
No, absolutely, yeah. Barney Humphrey having a magnificent game for Sherborne in the scrum half jersey. He just seems to make the right decisions at the right times, the hallmark of any top-notch scrum half. As for RGS, the offloading game, it's all well and good when it comes off, but at the moment it isn't coming off. So they need a plan B, because at the moment they're coughing up possession with these unforced errors. Of course, it's unforced errors that have cost them 2 tries. So if they can cut out those mistakes, you know, still use those ball carriers, but not necessarily look for the offloads, because that's what's getting them in trouble at the moment, coughing up possession, and now they find themselves defending their 22 once again.
Chidera Obona has come on the field for Elliot Jeffries, who's gone off with an injury. Finney McGoughlin with the line out. But it's been pickpocketed away and stolen by RGS. They'll have the chance to clear. Humph downfield, but into the arms of Johnny Page. Page doesn't get past a bonnet. Picked up by number 7, Dylan Cave. George Sutton, I do beg your pardon. And they have an advantage to be played, and they win the penalty. So options here for Barney Humphrey. He's gone for the tap and go option, pressed. Maybe not the right option, as it's been stolen again by RGS. Ben Snaith kicks the ball downfield. It's an awkward bounce. Humphrey spots the gap, and he's away. 1 man to beat. He's got men with him. He's going to go himself. Ball knocked forward. No try.
Well, I spoke about Barney Humphrey making all the right decisions. I think he's made the wrong one there. It was great vision to spot the space up the blind side, but he had men inside him there. It was a 2-on-1. He saw the try line and the glory, decided to go himself. Let's have a look at the replay there.
White
space.
line fever, we call it.
Absolutely. Oh, there's a bit of a pillar in the way there, but great cover tackle by the fullback for RGS, Jack Peter. He'll be delighted with that one, but that's a chance gone begging for Sherborne. But here they come again.
Here they come again, indeed. Patrick Reynolds is the man who's over, and this is Relentless from Sherborne. Do beg your pardon, it's Will Bailey, number 22. And RGS with it all to do.
First of all, it was messy from the line out. Well picked up on the recovery there, but what an absolute powerhouse of a runner. As soon as he had the ball in his hand, there was only one thing on his mind, and that was getting towards that try line.
24-0. They're averaging a point a minute, Sherborne, at the moment.
Front rowers love those opportunities as well. They love to have the ball in hand. You saw from that.
Great kick as well from Dom Prest.
He wasn't interested in any side steps. All he wanted to do was break tackles, and he smashed through them. Superb power from the Sherborne 22.
So then, another substitution coming on for Sherborne, number 20 coming on the field. Tom de Weslow is on the field. So, 25 minutes gone. Sherborne in the ascendancy. 1 foot already in Twickenham, it seems. RGS. They'll be like a football team, 3-0 down at half-time at the minute. They really have it all to do. Still got another half of rugby to come yet, though, but they'll feel better if they can get something from this half. Jack Peter. Snaith. This is Obana. Finley Edwards. Groves. Getting over the gain line now. This is better from Newcastle. But it's been lost by James Mackin, and now Sherborne looking to launch a counter-attack once more. McLaughlin. Will Bailey. Kick downfield. Out in the funnel, will go back. And we'll be in RGS Newcastle with the line-outs. And you feel, Dave, they need to get something from this half.
Yeah, they certainly need something just to get a bit of momentum going. Every time they've had a little bit of possession, it's either been an unforced error or a bit of Sherborne brilliance that's kind of stifled that. They've gone for the short numbers again, 2 men in the line-out. And a big group of forwards there stood just to the right-hand side.
It's been intercepted, though, by Nick Jonas. And they win the penalty, Sherborne.
Some hands there where they perhaps shouldn't have been. I think we're going to have another Sherborne onslaught here.
Well, 2.5 minutes to go. And Sherborne right now really have been ruthless in this first half. McLaughlin with the line out. Doesn't find the bullseye on that occasion. Chowdhury. Chopra. Tackled by Will Bailey. Groves. Obana. Groves. Snaith. Loose pass there from the outside half. He hasn't had the best of first halves. Loose pass from Groves, but a little bit of a gap opening up for Ben Snaith. Groves goes for the run himself. Snaith. Patient rugby this from RGS. It seems to be working for them as they're getting a little bit of yards, bit by bit. And they have an advantage for their trouble. Down the field it goes. There's a little bit of a gap opening up, but it's been picked up by number 12, Patrick Reynolds, but they're going to come back for an early infringement.
Yeah, they've got away with it a little bit there because they had the advantage, and I thought after that big kick away, I thought the referee might call advantage over, and if he had have done, then Ben Scott fancied it around the outside there. Sorry, Patrick Reynolds, should I say, fancied it around the outside there, and he'd have not had a lot between him and the try line. But the referee, good decision. And as you mentioned, good patient rugby there from RGS, going through the phases. Sometimes it's hard work and it's laborious and it certainly doesn't look glamorous, but you just need to keep the ball at times, and RGS have done that well in the last few minutes. See half-time rapidly approaching. They'd love to get something on the scoreboard before them, just to give them a little bit of a foothold in the game.
Referee not too happy with that line out on the halfway line, so they're going to come back in for the scrum, and it will be Sherborne with the put-in. Time in the red. As I mentioned earlier, we go on the referee's whistle. Our clock is only an indication. This may be one of the few last plays of the half. Sherborne have been sensational in this first half. And they were delighted with their efforts, weren't they, Dave? 4 tries to 0.
Well, it all started from that McLaughlin charge down. What a great way to get momentum, to score a try completely out of the blue like that. Since then, it's been all Sherborne. I mean, the scoreboard tells a story, but they've been as impressive in defence as they have in attack. They've given RGS nothing to work on.
Nick Jonas. Knock-on advantage to come here for RGS. But they're obviously looking for something better. Dylan Cave, this is. Penalty. Coming for Sherborne, and everything's going their way.
Well, they're working together as a unit. I mean, you've got Dylan Cave there doing his best to try and make something happen. But no matter how good you are, if you run in isolated on your own and you've got no support, then you're going to get turned over or you're going to give away a penalty. Half-time whistle's gone there, and Sherborne, absolutely incredible display in this first half.
It has been an incredible display from them. 4 tries to 0. 26-0 they lead at half-time. It's been relentless, hasn't it, Dave?
Yeah, relentless is a good word. RGS Newcastle finding it very, very difficult to penetrate Sherborne in any way, shape or form. When they have had the opportunities to do so, it's been a couple of individual errors, particularly handling errors, that have let them down. Sherborne, well, they've scored tries from everywhere and anywhere. They've been led around the park by the fantastic Barney Humphrey, who, aside from that one try-scoring opportunity that he passed up when he had the 2-on-1 against Jack Peter, he has marshalled the troops around superbly well.
What do they need to do, RGS?
First things first, they need some territory, and I don't think they can get any territory until they cut out the mistakes. I bemoaned them in the first 10 minutes or so for all their attacking play being very lateral, so they need some runners to fix defenders, to really get some go forward, not necessarily to receive the ball, but even dummy runners can move defenders around and create gaps. At the moment, the Sherborne defensive line has been very, very organised, and RGS have found it nigh on impossible to get through that. So the first thing they need to do is keep their heads up, because, you know, if their heads go down, which is very easy to do with a 26-0 scoreline at half-time, then this could turn into a cricket score.
So then, let's look at the tries from this first half, and it all started within the first minute of the game. Charge down, fight Ben Snaith's kick, and Finian McLaughlin was there to get over the line.
Yeah, kick was a bit flat. Sherborne didn't give the RGS 10 any time to settle into the game. Absolutely no standing on ceremony there for the hooker. Great charge down, great finish, and a dream start. Then it was another mistake. Ball dropped there, and once it was dropped, RGS switched off. Unfortunately for them, Johnny Page didn't. They were queuing up to pounce on it, but he got there first and finished under the sticks. Just eyes off the ball there, and those are the differences between winning and losing in semi-finals. Opportunities like that don't present themselves, and when they do, you need to finish, and Johnny Page did that with aplomb. This is the next try. Lovely ball there, link-up play between 10 and 12. It's Patrick Reynolds making yards, and Barney Humphrey, we've done a lot of talking about him in this first half. He was on hand first at the breakdown, as all good scrum halves are. No one from RGS really closing the gap, and Humphreys just had a free rein to go straight over the top and dab the ball down. So the fourth try, look, that came from a mistake at the line out. Of course, it's a lot more difficult than the 15s rugby because you're not allowed to lift in the line out, so it's always a bit of a free-for-all. But William Bailey there, facing backwards, all of a sudden breaks the first tackle, and then that is a superb finish from the front row. Breaks one tackle, takes a back rower and a full-back over the line with him. Absolute powerhouse play from the barnstorming front rower. That made it 24. Prest has been great from the boot too. He's converted 3 of the tries. And that takes Sherborne to 26.
26-0 they lead at half-time. For the Sherborne team, it'll be the same again, please.
Oh, business as usual. As I said, the fact that they've scored 4 tries has all really been off the back of their sterling defensive work. They're well organised. No one's scared to put a tackle in. They all have trust in their inside and outside man. So when they're drifting against this RGS Newcastle offense, which has been, as I said, quite lateral, they've soaked it all up. They've either waited for the mistake or they've forced the mistake. And then when they've had the ball in hand, they've been absolutely clinical.
Clinical indeed. 26-0 they lead. Very important for Newcastle to try and get on the board here early in this first half if they want to have any chance of getting back into this game. 4 tries to 0 down. But as you mentioned, Dave, all about territory. Get some territory, run a few phases, you never know what can happen.
Well, if you're superstitious, Johnny, then you're backing Sherborne here, because every team that's attacked this way in the second half won yesterday.
And it seems to be a running trend, in fact, not just in this Natwest Schools Cup, but Saracens in general, when they play on this ground. A team that attacks right to left in the second half tends to win the game.
Another worrying thing for RGS here is the fact, of course, that Sherborne have only conceded 2 tries in this entire tournament. No more than 1 per match.
So then, RGS with it. Snaith with a cross-field kick, who wants it? But Patrick Reynolds under pressure, and it could be a little bit of a chance here for RGS. They got the ball inside the 22, and they go right. Ben Scott goes down, and they have a penalty. Tap and go, going to be coming here surely.
Well, this is the first time they've really been in this position the entire match.
So they're going to go with a little catch and drive, and it may work for them, And they've got a try for all their endeavour and their hard work. That's the start of the second half they were looking for.
Dream start, and that's exactly what they needed to do. They needed to put pressure on, get some sort of momentum, get some field position, and look, it's paid absolute dividends there. It's the first time we've seen them work as a unit. A planned move there from the tap penalty. Look at that, as soon as it's off the scrum half's foot. Great structure there, driving forward, forward, forward. It was the number 8 there, James Mackin, who had the ball in his hand.
James Mackin, the scorer. So then, the arrears have been cut to 21. That's missed on the left-hand side by Ben Snaith. So, 21 points the difference. Sherborne still lead, 26 points to 5.
Yeah, James Mackin is one of the players who can have a big impact on this second half. Rayan Chowdhury as well. Manav Chopra, they're all the players who did the majority of the ball carrying for RGS in the first half. So the team will really look to them to try and make an impact in the second half. Change those ball carries into forward momentum, not sideways momentum. But that's a great start.
Dylan Cave, Elliot Groves. Groves, Dylan Cave, nice offload to Obana, but he's put his foot into touch. But good endeavour from RGS at the start of the second half.
Yeah, Dylan Cave, as all sevens do, he's linked the backs and the forward pack really well in the first half when he's had the opportunity to do so. Nice to see Elliot Groves there, just trying to get play started. It was a good offload at the tackle. Those are the sort of things that RGS were trying in the first half, but the ball was very often going to ground.
And it will be an RGS put in at the scrum. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Dave, if RGS get a converted try in the next few minutes earlier in this second half, then Sherborne will now be having some worrying thoughts at the back of their mind.
Well, the first half has started kind of the opposite. Sorry, the second half, should I say, has started kind of the opposite of the first half. Sherborne really had scored 2 tries before RGS had touched the ball in the first half. Sherborne having the same done to them in these opening 4 or so minutes in the second half.
Groves. Snaith with the kick. Johnny Page under it. It's gone over his head though. And put a little bit of pressure on the number 14. Good tackle by Obana. Ball is out, ball is loose. Picked up by Hugo Prowl. So, Humphrey. Long pass from the 22. Who wants it? Number 15, Jack Peter, the fullback for RGS. Groves. James Dale beats one man another, and now he's away. He's into the 22. Sherborne are the ones now on the back foot. Groves. Snaith. Good run for here. Blackett. This is Obana going for the corner. Oh, here we go. Here we go indeed, RGS. 2 tries in 6 minutes. And all of a sudden, there's light at the end of this tunnel.
Well, they look like an absolutely different team. Forward running, incisive play. The offloads are going to hand. That's a superb finish over on the far side. Let's take a look at this. Handling from the front row. Number 1 there. Chowdhury getting the offload back off 12, and look at that power there from Obana, the replacement winger. Hands one off, gets round another, finishes in the corner.
10-26. It's a difficult kick this for Ben Snaith.
I hear shouts from the sideline there. The Sherborne coaching staff saying, you must wrap the ball carrier. And they're right, you know, that was all about innovative play from RGS. They sought the contact, but they kept the hands free.
So 10-26 now the score.
Look at this finish again. Great handoff there, sends him to the ground. Poor Johnny Page there stood no chance.
And all of a sudden, it's RGS, the ones with the wind in their sails. Groves. Snaith putting Johnny Page under pressure, and it's gone over his head again for the young Sherborne winger, and gets a big hit for his trouble. But there will be a Sherborne penalty, and they take it quickly. Page still down.
That was a hefty smash that the young lad took there.
Looks okay. He's just getting some medical attention right now. He stays standing up, and it will be another Sherborne penalty. Into touch it goes. This is the hit on Johnny Page. It was a good one as well, wasn't it? Oof, my word.
The replacement there. They were both low. I don't think there was any malice in that, but he did take it full in the face, did Johnny Page. They've kicked well to him in the second half because they've turned him. It's been difficult for him to judge the flight, and there have been a couple that have gone over his head.
Ball's been stopped. There was a knock-on in the earlier part of the play. So we're going to bring William Bailey back. He thought he was in for his second try. But it will be a Sherborne put in at the scrum, just short of the RGS 22.
Well, a nice bit of welcome relief here for Sherborne. They've not had the chance to impose themselves at all in this second half. And they were absolutely deadly from anywhere even remotely close to the try line in the first half.
Humphrey with the pot in and collects. Pressed. Humphrey goes right. Nick Jonas. Humphrey. Don Prest. Important for RGS to hold out here. They want to stay in this game. Will Bailey goes to ground. Humphrey. Big hit on Felix Storer. Pressed. Intercepted pass! Ben Scott is off and running. Who's there with him? Who's there with him? Oh, the ball has gone backwards. And Johnny Page under pressure here. But all of a sudden, the door was ajar for RGS. Ben Scott didn't have the legs to pull it off. But Sherborne under pressure. They're the ones now making the unforced errors. Humphrey. Pressed out wide. It's an open game of rugby now. And he's around him is Nick Jonas. Jonas with the hand off. Keeps it in touch, and it could be there for Patrick Reynolds. Reynolds going for the line. Obana with a saving tackle, maybe. No, he's there.
Well, what an end-to-end game of rugby. First of all, we had Ben Scott with the interception. Didn't quite have the wheels to get there. We thought there was going to be a momentum change, more territory for RGS, but Sherborne showing their class, working it from right to left. Just look at this here, great step. Puts the left winger, Matthew Sheeran, on his backside. Thought he'd been a little bit selfish again with a 2-on-1, but just managed to get the offload away. Good pickup off the toes, and despite the attention of two RGS players, gets the ball down.
Well, Sherborne scored their fifth try of the game. 31 points to 10, they lead. Pressed to add the extras. This is on the left-hand side. But 21 points to lead, 20 minutes to go.
Well, that could really knock the wind out of RGS's sails there, but a great recovery from Sherborne after conceding those two tries early in the second half. Composure inside the 22, spot in the gap. Real class shown by the Sherborne outside backs, and straight out of play from the restart. That is the last thing that the Newcastle team needed.
Indeed. Disappointment there for Ben Snaith. So we scrum down on the halfway line here. Newcastle, for all their hard work, started the second half, getting back into this game. And at one point then, when we thought Ben Scott had intercepted that try, we were going to have a 9-point game, but alas, counter-attacking rugby, Patrick Reynolds the scorer, 21 points now the difference. Sherborne 18 minutes away from Wembley. Twickenham are doing bad. You made that mistake yesterday. You put it in the back of my mind.
It's the disease that catches. I do apologise.
Free kick to RGS. Groves. Matt Sherin. Good offloads. Groves, Sherin again. James Mackin, one of the try scorers for RGS. Into the 22 they come. Good tackle by William Bailey. Groves. Mackin. Matt Sherin. Crossfield kick. No mark called, so they're going to carry it on here. Wanted a little darting run himself. Does Rupert Chedwood. Barney Humphrey with the box kick. It's gone out of play.
Yeah, if we can go back to that crossfield kick, it's a good tactic, particularly when you've got someone as dangerous as Bonner over on that far wing, but you can see from the depth that he was stood, he wasn't expecting that. And he didn't really start his chase until the boot had already left the ball. Just a replay of the box kick. Barney Humphrey not quite getting the best contact with that one. And the referee had judged the ball to go forward from the catch, so RGS can come again here.
Fifteen minutes to go. Referee giving the instructions to both the front rows. Time is the enemy now for RGS Newcastle. Need to get 3 tries. And they've got to be converted as well, so it could be a little bit difficult for RGS. James Dale over halfway. And they have an advantage to come. And they win the penalty.
Yeah, some hands where they shouldn't have been there from Sherborne.
Tap and go by Groves. Keep the running rugby going. Mackin. Beats one man and another. He's done well. Just short of the 22. Groves. Snaith. Chopra. Good offload. Referee's in the way. Snaith. Dale. Good drive there from RGS. And they get the penalty for that endeavour as well.
James Dale has done
Groves
really
taken
well there.
quickly, catching Sherborne off guard. Mackin. To the 22 he comes again. And a little bit of a pest to Sherborne in the second half. Groves. Chopra. Good tackle by William Bailey again. It may have been snatched away from Chopra's arms and Sherborne have turned it over. Pressed into midfield. Ball dropped by Ben Scott, went backwards though, and now Urbano looks to launch a counter-attack. He's off and running, is the lad. Into Finney McLaughlin's hands. It's a bit loose and free at the moment. Felix Carey. Tackle by Gus Cunningham. Humphrey. Pressed. Doug Hickling. Round one man, round another. One man to beat. He had a man with him, and is he going to use him? He is going to use him. It's there for Nick Jonas. And that is the 6th try of the game. And surely now Sherborne are going to Twickenham.
Well, it certainly looks that way. Jonas gets the try that his endeavour deserves. Of course, it was his fantastic break up the left-hand side that led to the previous try. Again, breaking tackles willy-nilly, the Sherborne backs. Not sure what Jack Peter was doing here, going for the dump tackle when really he carried on with a bit of a wrestling match when the ball had been offloaded. Although I still think it would have been difficult for him to stop Jonas from there, even if he had let the man go who he was lifting over his head.
So then, 26 points the difference. This for a 28-point lead for Don Prest. Oh, superb kick it was as well, right into the heart of the goal. 4 from 6 he is today. And now Sherborne looking very good to be in the opening match at Twickenham in a couple of Wednesdays' time. Yeah,
nicely done from Sherborne. They've responded well to RGS too, who have looked a much better team in this second half. Credit to them.
So they 10 the score. Pressed into the arms of Matt Sheerin. Jack Peter. James Dale. Goes to his left. Groves. Snaith. Elliot Groves to the halfway line. Matt Sheerin. Groves. Snaith. Groves again. Out wide to Obana. He's done very well here to get into the Sherborne half, but here comes Sherborne now. One mistake and they're off and running again. Number 12, Patrick Reynolds, who's with him. They'd been intercepted this time by RGS, but they're put under pressure. Campton said they're on 22 and they may have turned it over. Sherborne, they have done, but it was illegally, and RGS will get the penalty and be able to clear. But it's very running and free at the minute. Free rugby, that's what it is.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Firstly, a bonner for RGS. Great break from him. He's dangerous in open play. Patrick Reynolds there, really impressed with him. He receives the ball and straight away you can see him thinking about options. He looked to get the kick for territory, but then saw space up in front of him. Went to go around the outside again. Got the offload away on the 22, but good cover defence from RGS. Got possession of the ball and eventually forced the penalty.
Ten minutes to go. A few of the Sherborne crowd singing already. They feel their side's done enough. More than enough, in fact. Pressed. Ball knocked forward, and it will be an RGS potted. Couple of substitutions coming on the field. Andrew Stembridge coming on. Elliot Jeffries coming back on the field as well. Another one for Sherborne as well. Ben Chowderley also coming on the field. asking this one to go again, if you don't mind. Henry Haslam has come on the field. He's wearing number 14. We did mention at the start of the programme that there was a couple of blank shirts in the RGS kit bag. So a few have to be changed on the sideline, and Henry Haslam's been wearing 14. The referee wants that one to go again. The reset scrum. And something different for these guys, isn't it, Dave? We're playing on a different conditions here at the Alliance Park. It's a 3G pitch that they use here. You know, it's like the old school fields that we used to play, you know, as kids, and a lot of guys would have played on as well. It's a different experience for them, isn't it, on this big 3G pitch?
Well, and we've played on some bad school pitches over the years, haven't we, Johnny?
Indeed we have.
But this, well, certainly seems to be the future of rugby at some levels. What it does mean is we've got a great dummy there from 10.
Ben Snaith, good dummy. Has an advantage to come with it as well. And they're going to come back for that penalty.
As I was saying, what it does mean is that you've got a consistent surface, particularly for the games earlier in the season. I mean, we were here for the Under-18 Champions Trophy final. It means that in the middle of the winter, you've got perfect conditions for running rugby. For scrummaging, I mean, we've not seen many scrums have problems. Obviously, the referees aren't happy some of the times, but we've not seen many scrums go down, because what it does mean is that a tight five can always maintain their footing. And the scrum's been quite an interesting feature in this under-15s game.
Indeed, I've just got a player down at the moment, just receiving a little bit of treatment. He looks okay. He's sitting up. Ben Snaith, I think it is, just taking a little bit of a knock, but he's all right. Back in the huddle, and it will be an RGS penalty.
Well, time against them now, but they'll be pleased with the second half performance. Unfortunately for them, the game was really lost in that first half when Sherborne exploded out of the blocks.
Got more substitutions coming on for Sherborne. Number 21, Guy Deverell, and number 1, Harry Taylor, coming on the field. They can have their moment in the sun. Barney Humphrey, he's had a good game for Sherborne. Obana. Good stuff this from RGS. Into the 22 they come. A little drive forward from RGS as well. To the last 5 minutes of the game. The ball has been turned over. But a good tackle there from RGS on the number 21, Guy Deverell. Yeah. Forces the knock on, and it will be a scrum inside the Sherborne 22.
Good defensive pressure there. They lost the ball to Sherborne. It was a good turnover, but then a great tackle there in the loose, dislodging the ball. Let's have a look at the replay there. Yet again, great yards made from Obana. He looks like a really dangerous runner. He's also lining up at outside centre now as opposed to winger. RGS trying to get him on the ball more in the dying embers of this game.
3 minutes to go. Groves. Snaith. Obana. He's got quick feet. He's got a man to his right, his left a bit behind if he wants to use it. And he does so with Jack Peter. Obana again. RGS looking for a consolation try towards the end of this semi-final. And they win the penalty. No doubt a quick tap and go going again here. Ball kicked away. So Groves have to take the tap and go just 5 metres out. Groves. Snaith. James Dale. O'Banner. Dale. Jeffries. Haslam, I do beg your pardon, wearing the number 14 shirt. Groves. Advantage to be played as well for RGS. You have a penalty. Groves spots a little bit of the gap. Tackled by Deverell. But is Groves over? He is, certainly. And for their hard work, they get the try.
Well, great work from the diminutive number 9 there. Didn't look like there was a lot of room, but he forced his way over. And that typifies a much better second half display from RGS Newcastle. Bonner's made a big difference since he's come on. Then he's moved into the centre, beating tackles, getting offloads away, and that's the kind of forward momentum that RGS Newcastle really lacked in the first half. The conversion's been missed there. Let's have a look at the replay. Again, ball goes to Bonner there, takes out 3 defenders and gets the offload away to his centre partner. There was room on the outside, but the substitute Haslam couldn't quite get there. But he recycled the ball well. RGS came forward again. Just went through the phases. Really good, patient rugby. And finally there with quite a lot of work still to do through the dummy. Took 2 fellas over with him there. Great strength from the scrum half, and he gets the try to take his team up to 15.
So then, 15:38, time in the red. David, your man of the match.
Well, there's been some good performances today, Sherborne and RGS. For RGS, James Mackin, the number 8's been great. Manav Chopra, the captain and second rower, has just taken the ball forward non-stop. Jack Peters had a lot of tackling to do. And then for Sherborne, the 2 centres, Reynolds and Jonas, have been tireless in their work, as well as the forwards really keeping them honest and organised. But for me, the first half display of Barney Humphrey, the scrum half, he was the catalyst for everything good that put this game out of sight. He is my man of the match.
Barney Humphrey, the Sherborne scrum half, who I think is sitting down on the bench. He's the man of the match. Bios on the gantry. And Sherborne, just moments away from a Twickenham final. Devil with the put in. Scrum. Scrum collapses and will be reset. And he's been told by our cameraman he's the man of the match, hence the little smirk on his face.
That's some haircut he's got as well, isn't it? Yeah, really impressive performance from Barney Humphrey. Organised his team well. You could see him at the breakdown as well, just like a conductor, just
orchestrating.
Yeah,
the
orchestrating
play.
Exactly what he needed, where he needed players as well, and particularly if you're in the forward pack. This is a great break here.
It is a great break. Doug Heckling, you've got a man with him. He had a man to his left-hand side if he wanted to use him, doesn't. Still another chance here for Sherborne to put the final nail in the coffin. Deverell. Ball went forward.
Yeah, just forward.
And that is game over. Sherborne and Twickenham. Sherborne head to Twickenham. They're in the Vars final in 3 Wednesdays' time on the 25th of March. A deserved victory, a comprehensive victory, and it was the first half that won it for them.
Oh, certainly was. Great performance. As I said, Barney Humphrey was at the epicentre of absolutely everything, orchestrating proceedings. He told his forwards exactly where he wanted them, and after that, it was easy work for the backs. Sherborne took advantage of some RGS mistakes to score those 2 early tries. It was a spirited fight back from RGS Newcastle in the second half. They scored 3 good tries. And I think it's a question of what ifs and what could have beens for the team for up north. but Sherborne deserved winners, and they've got Twickenham to look forward to in a few weeks.
Indeed they do. The final score on this first Vars semi-final is Sherborne School 38, RGS Newcastle 15. Let's have a look at the tail of the tape, as it were. Let's have a look at the whole story, and it all started in the first minute of the game.
Well, it seems a long time ago now when McLaughlin charged down that flat kick, burst over the try line. There we are. Right place, right time, well read by the hooker, and that's a great finish from a front rower as well. Good pace and good awareness of who's around him. Then it was eyes off the ball, another mistake. You can't afford to make those kinds of mistakes in semi-finals like this. Credit to Johnny Page. That was a great pick-up and finish under the sticks. The ball receiver there under no real pressure. It was an uncharacteristic mistake from the big man for RGS, but no mistake with the finish. That was converted by Dom Prest to make it 12-0. Then it was more incisive play from Sherborne. Patrick Reynolds, the centre there, making the hard yards before man of the match. Barney Humphrey dived over. Yeah, really good line there, splitting the RGS defence. They made the tackles, but the damage was done by that ball carrier, number 12. Then turnover at the line out, and it was the number 22 there, smashing his way over. Great finish from William Bailey, the front rower. With these lineouts that, of course, you can't lift in, it's always a 50-50 contest, and when it's loose like that, you've got to be aware in defence. Will Bailey was, and he powered home. This was early in the second half. This is a well-worked try from RGS. The first time they'd had any territory in the match. They forced the tap penalty, and it was a set move. The forwards driving over number 8, James Mackin. He was a great strong ball carrier and tackler throughout the match. He was at the back of that maul and dabbed it down for the score. At this point, RGS had a bit of a mini fight back. Good hands, and what a handoff here from the substitute back of Bonner. Got outside his man. Good hands from the prop as well. Interlinking with the inside centre. All of these players, they handle the ball really, really well, but what a handoff. Great power, just natural ability from a Bonner. This is when Sherborne really came into their own. Both centres linking up well. Jonas, the captain, going around the outside, getting the offload away. Patrick Reynolds on hand. A real try for the centre partnership there. Know each other's games particularly well. What a step that was. That little shimmy putting poor Matthew Shearing on his backside. Jack Peter tried his hardest to chase back, but as soon as the offload was released, Jonas made his way over despite the attention of 2 defenders. The referee feeling he did enough to get the ball grounded. And this is the final try. Doug Hickling there round the outside again. Jack Peter doing his best, but perhaps paying a little bit too much attention to the man who'd got the offload away, and Jonas was on hand. Great support running from him. Receives the offload and runs in unopposed. There was a great conversion from Prest following that, and that was the final score for Sherborne. There was a bit of a renaissance, but it was too little too late from RGS. The industrious Elliot Groves, he had a good game with what limited possession he had and got the try that his performance deserved. But that was all she wrote. Sherborne 38, RGS 15.
An impressive performance by Sherborne School, going through by 38 points to 15. They will be through to Twickenham in a couple of Wednesdays' time on the 25th of March. And they'll be playing the winner of the next semi-final, which will be against Oakham School and Bishop Wordsworth. Ridley Maguire is the coach of Sherborne School, and he's downstairs with Ed Talon.
Half past 12. A lot of stress on the touchline. I think my first question is, of your 3 coaches, which of you is the most stressed right now, do you think?
Yeah, I think I looked just as old as the other 2 after that game. It was, I think the scoreline was probably a little bit misleading, to be honest. And I think just at that start of the second half, when Newcastle came back into it, I thought we could be all in for a really interesting finish. But yeah, very, very exciting day, and just incredibly proud of the group. And I think the parents are pretty chuffed as well, looking at them over there.
Well, you looked like you were almost out of sight. during half-time, didn't you? 26-0. Newcastle, as you say, came back into it. How important then was that 5th try that just came about just when you nearly had your own defensive line broken for a 3rd time?
Yeah, I think always with the under 15 age group, I think you can get quite big swings in momentum. And I think we were just at that point where we just had enough breathing space, and that extra try, I think that probably just put the game beyond doubt. But I think they were at a point where they could have, they were on the brink of maybe scoring 1 or 2 more, which could have really changed the nature of the game.
Well, the form book was certainly in your favour before this match. You've only lost 3 matches in all competitions this season. What was your preparation for coming here today, and what will it be for Twickenham in 2 weeks' time?
It was to try and make the most of our backs, which is probably something that we failed to achieve, to be honest. We have got a really fast electric set of backs that we try and create quick ball for. But in many ways, I think it was up front that we did most of the damage. And I think the backs probably put the icing on the game, but they probably came into it a lot later than we would have probably have hoped. So, but we'll take it anyway.
And finally, what does it mean to you to be able to lead a side to the home of English rugby?
It's not the Millennium Stadium, but I mean, as a second option, yeah, I mean, very, very special. I think for those boys, I've just said to them there, I think it'll be one of the most special things that they do in rugby or maybe their lives. So for those group of boys, I'm not sure it's sunk in yet, but I think they're in for a very, very special 3 weeks as they build up to Twickenham. So ecstatic, I think.
Well, it is a very special occasion. Lots of happy kids, lots of happy parents, and perhaps you and the other coaches maybe have earned yourself a pint.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, cheers.
Thank you.
So Sherborne are in the final at Twickenham. They will play the winners of the second semi-final, Oakham School against Bishop Wordsworth. That comes up at 1 p.m. here at the Alliance Park. But the final score in the first semi-final is RGS Newcastle 15, Sherborne School 38. More later.